Hi, well, here we are in the middle of another lockdown in Sydney. So, with a bit of, or a lot of spare time on my hands, I thought I'd just run through a few fowls that I've got here to show you, Carolyn. I'll start with the good um, and work my way through to the interesting, to the that's terrible, and maybe a few questions along the way. So I hope you can bear with me. All right. So good. Let's start with this one. I've been very happy with the root growth in this fowl. It's done really well over summer with its root growth and rewarded me with. And Carolyn, you know how much I love a good branch. This has really outdone itself. So, although last year it was a double spiker, this year it's just come up with the one, but I think it's going to reward me with a lot of flowers. I must tell you that before I go much further, I did realise about 6 months ago now that I had a terrible, I think they're called mealybugs, those little white things. And it's taken me a good 6 months to get rid of them, and all I've done is used neem oil, I think it is, or just an oil based plant, but it was in every plant that I had, and was a real task to get rid of. Anyway, so this I class as one of my goods. We'll get to another one. This is one of my oldest orchids, and it's a fowl ox lottery. I got it at an orchid show when I was living in my old place. I think I've had this for 5 years, and what I've noticed is in that 5 years, for some reason, and luckily, I mean, they look limp, but to touch they're very, I think you called it the other day, nice firm handshake. They do give a nice firm handshake. It's never lost a leaf. All my other ones have, but this has held on to every leaf that it's got. So and I love it when it flowers. And as you can see, I think, where are you? There's a spike here coming up, so it will flower again for me this year. So if you can ever get an ox lottery, I've seen a lot of different ones. Now, I did repot this, and I have to go in and give it another go because there has been a little bit of root dieback. And I cut down the amount of sphagnum moss that I had in with the previous mix. So I'll just leave it. It's doesn't smell bad. It just smells like bark, so I'm not too worried about it. Where are you? 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 Okay. Another success story. This one did struggle a bit when I first got it, and you can see again I've got to go in and repot it. I did repot these all in summer, and I think the reason why I'm getting this is just I've taken changed the medium as much as there's not as much sphagnum that I used to have, but it's spiking. So it should put up a fairly good show. You can see that I've got a branch there, and when I was watering the other day, I'll turn her around, you can see I've got, I hope you can, that I've got another spike, so it's going to double spike. I thought this original one had slowed down a fair bit, and on inspection I found out why. Now, I'm going to jump a little bit. I'll go into questions and oddities. This one. All right. I watered on Saturday. It's Wednesday today, so, and there's a fair bit of moss in this. So, and you can see it's probably it's liking it, but you can tell from the leaves that we've had, you know, some issues. So this one, I think, split from overwatering. I had to cut this one off because it got the same thing as this, which I'll show you later. So I cut it off. And then one day when I was watering, this was putting up a new leaf, and I broke it off. You can see there. But it was like tiny, just coming out. And I thought, oh well, that's all right. It'll put up a new leaf, which it has. But then it's put up that on the side, and there's another new leaf coming up inside there. So I guess I'm just going to have to see how it develops. It's some sort of keiki, or kiki, or anyway, it's a new one coming off the side, but I didn't think I'd ever see one come off that high up. So there's no sign of spikes on this, which I'm a little bit disappointed in because it was quite nice. Talking about keikis, where did I put you? Okay. I've had this one separated from the others because it seems to be better now. This stem here is really odd, and there's no sign of new leaf coming up. But it did put out this keiki on the side. And it's done odd things with its leaves, so I don't know whether it's got a virus. But then, if you can see there, it's putting another one out. So whatever it is, I don't know, maybe I'm just going to get a whole lot of new keikis will come out, and we'll see what happens. But it does have a nice flower, this one, from memory, so I'm hoping that it will continue to do so. But you can see, like, I don't know if it comes up on the video, I think that's sunburn, but why the leaves on the new plants are so twisted and odd, I don't know. But like, they're all firm, all the leaves are firm, so I'll just have to wait and see how we go. Alright. Alright, I'll go into this one. So you can see there, root growth really strong. Just on a side note, I hope the weather is starting to cool down for you, Caroline. I've been seeing it on the news over here, how hot it is there. I have a bit of a chuckle to myself because we not normally, but every summer we'll have a spell of 5 or 6 days where it'll get up to 50, 51, maybe 52. Then we'll get what we call a southerly come through and it'll cool it down. I hope you get some sort of change pretty soon. But I know it's very early over there for you to be getting such hot weather. Anyway, this is the one with that leaf. Now I put it up when it first started on an orchid forum that I'm members with, and they just said don't worry about it, it just looks like a bit of sunburn. It doesn't to me. I'm thinking though, this leaf was put out when I had all the trouble with the mealybug, and I'm wondering if that's damage that was done to the leaf when it was young. It doesn't seem to go much further than down here. If it gets any lower than this, and it hasn't moved, it's just stayed the same, I will cut that leaf off and see how it goes. But it's obviously happy, it's putting up a spike, or putting out a spike, so we'll see. All right, my last happy news. Not happy news, not my last happy news. That would be a terrible thing. Remember my girl that got the crown rot, and I just dumped about a tablespoon of cinnamon powder in it and left it for a week and then took it out. And it did all that funny stuff down here. With that funny little, like once that funny leaf came through, I knew that things were going to be okay. The leaves aren't, aren't too bad. I do know my leaves are very dusty. I need to clean them next Saturday. And seeing it's lockdown, I'll have plenty of time to do it. It is starting to yellow from the tips on some of these older leaves underneath where the rot was. But again, as you can see, I've got a really nice spike coming out. So, and this one does get a beautiful flower. It's a really velvety petal, and it's purple and white, and it's just beautiful. And it just like the flowers actually do feel like velvet. They're that plush and they glisten. They're beautiful. So I was so glad that I found out from you that cinnamon was sometimes the cure for all evils. So that went well. 2 years ago, a friend of mine at work was given a fowl, a little mini fowl, and it was struggling. And it was a gift to her on her father's death. And I said to her, look, if you want, I'll take it home, I'll repot it, I'll get it into spike, and I'll give it back to you. Well, I repotted it, and as you can see, it's in spike. But last year it did spike, but during watering I broke it off, so I've got to keep it for another year. And in that time, you can see with all these roots, and it's just going gangbusters. And it's in one of my new favourite, well, I've been using them for a while, these pots. They're yogurt tubs. So once I finish a tub of yogurt, I just clean it out, put some holes in. Well, that's what I was doing, and they love it. And I've gone back to doing that with some of them, because this is proof in the pudding. This was nearly dead when I got it, like it was still in its original sphagnum moss. It had, I think this is one of its original leaves, but since in the time I've had it, it's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves on, and it just loves the spot it's in. Not a whole lot of flowers on that spike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's probably about 7 or 8. There is signs here that down here that it may branch, which would be a great thing. So I'm looking forward to when we go back to work to giving that back to my friend who owns it. She's had a pretty tough time lately, so hopefully it'll bring her a little bit of joy. And to be honestly, to be truthful, I'll be really sad to see this go because I've never seen it in flower. I might keep it until it does and take it back to her when it is in flower. That might be the way to go. Now, question. This one I call Lazy Louise because she just keeps flopping over. Alright, no matter how many times I repot her, but she is spiking. Do I repot her again and stand her up straight and hope she'll stay straight, or just leave her the way she is? My you can tell in some of these leaves got too much sun and got a bit burnt, but what do you do? Like her leaves are healthy. She's putting on new ones. So root system is pretty good. So I'm not sure. Be interested. I could possibly put something under there to hold her up a bit. Keen to hear your thoughts. It's just really hard to find. You know, they take up so much room when they do this. Okay, some interesting things for you, maybe. Now remember, when I was talking to the guy from the orchid show who said the pots don't need holes on the side, just keep an eye on their water. Well, he's right, but keeping an eye on the water isn't as easy as it is, as it may seem. Anyway, here's something to prove that you can do. Once again, another yogurt pot, but oh no, this one wasn't. This is an actual orchid pot. All right. So there's air gets up in under here, but there's none on the side. But look at those roots. This really does. It doesn't smell so. You know, the medium's fairly fine in that, and it's spiking. So, and I find that when they're like this, for me, I can get away in winter, especially for maybe 3 weeks without having, before they turn grey, which is a real time saver for me, because these ones in winter and summer, winter once a week, summer sometimes even more, and they only get even more if I'm on holidays, because I just don't have the time. I might run a bit of water through the tap. But here in Australia, I try to be a bit careful with our water because, well, we don't have a lot of it. Although I saw a thing on TV saying that the Australian Alps get more snow than Switzerland, and I couldn't figure that out until I realised, well, Switzerland's like a postage stamp compared to our country. Here's another one that's just in straight bark, and she's doing all right as well. She, you know, just keep an eye on her. I can't see too many roots in there, but she's been in there. I got this online from a dealer in South Australia, and I've noticed that every orchid that I've got from him, and I've still got some, have really struggled. They've just, so I put it more down to that than the actual orchid. And here's another example, black pot. Yeah, planted this up. You can tell from the smaller leaf it struggled, but this one's coming out, so I'll show you what it does. But it is just a matter of, as you say, getting in there and feeling around, and if it feels too wet, I just leave it. And you do learn, like this is quite as I said, I watered on Saturday. It's Wednesday today. This is still quite heavy. Whereas when I know how light when it's feeling a lot lighter, that's when I water it. So it might be 2 weeks, which is a good thing. So I followed that advice from that man, and I got a little bit too overconfident. You did ask me if I'd bought some new orchids, and I did, and I followed his advice. I'll show you this one. Look at the flower on that. It was absolutely beautiful. Look at the plant. I was overzealous in the watering, and I thought, I'll follow your advice and check the roots. And when I checked the roots, guess what? There were none. So I'm not as clever as I thought. And I bought this. See that? This isn't the mini one that I bought last year. Beautiful. Check the roots. And I really want to save this one because you never see these leaves just in an orchid shop, just in a normal flower shop or, place. So apparently just sitting them on sphagnum moss will encourage new roots. That's been like that for a week or two. These have always been soft, these leaves. I don't know whether it's part of it or not. Now, here's another question. Sometimes when you transplant or have a plant that's been set back, not so much orchids, but a plant that's been set back, people will cut half the leaves off to reduce the stress on the plant in trying to hydrate the leaves. Sounds crazy, but should I try that? Like cut these back to half so it doesn't have to pump up as much water into the leaves with the one little root that it's got? Or do I just leave it, make sure that this is damp, not soggy wet, but damp, and see what happens? Normally if I have an orchid like this, straight into the bin, I can't be bothered, I don't have the time. If you lose it, you lose me. If you lose your roots, you're gone, Dale. So that's how I think of it. I'm hoping too that I can stitch on a little bit of a shot of the balcony that I took it before. There's a plant that just has little silver leaves, and it came, and I just cut it back 2 days ago. It came as a filler in a hanging basket with petunias and something else, and it overtook everything, and it's just become a monster. And I've cut it back to half of what it was. So I should have, if I've got a photo of it before that and put it in and can put it into the video, I will. But if you've ever seen it or know the name of it, I'd love to know. It's just, I just call it Cousin It. Anyway, I hope I can show you that. Take care. I hope the heat goes soon, and looking forward to seeing your next video and hearing all the news. Bye.